This guy here is going to talk a little bit about StackExchange.
A little bit about StackExchange and a plea for help.
And a plea for help.
Just give me a minute to get fired up here.
There's still cookies and drinks and other assorted stuff.
Let's see how this works. So how many people have heard of StackExchange? Raise your hand. Wow, just a few. I bet a lot of you guys have bumped into it without really knowing what it was. If you go back through the years and think about ways of getting support or answers to your questions about really anything, my focus is more on computers. You get your mailing lists for help. You got IRC channels. More recently, you had forums, and those are all still out there and all still very usable. But StackExchange sort of came about. Let's see, how do I get this thing going here? Turn on. Oh, I should plug it in, right? What is the video cable?
Looks like it's right under the piano. Straight under.
Where? Ah, right there. Black one.
Yeah.
You want to hook up this correctly, or?
No, I'm not really. I think wireless. I might have to tell it about the wireless.
There you go. You're on.
There's a network drop right there.
Okay, we're gonna go with real Ethernet too. Just not that I need the speed. I just don't want to mess around with the access. Okay, so we're on. Looks like we're getting IP address, connection established. Okay, good. Chances are, if you've Googled anything in the last year or so to do with any kind of technology, chances are among the answers that came up is an answer on the StackExchange site. Okay, now I have a screen there, but I don't have a screen here. I'm not quite sure what just happened. I just started typing.
You do synchronize or mirror?
Oh, it was mirrored a second ago. Now it's not. Let's see if I can get it back. No, apparently I get a choice, so I'm going to scan this one. Oops.
Cable came out.
Yeah.
By the way, just a real brief thing. If anybody needs any Ubuntu 12.10 discs, there's a handful of them over here. Go ahead and help
You're gonna have just a disc right there.
They're DVDs now. They're not CDs. Have a DVD player.
Way better than my work laptop.
All right, let's try this.
Will that minimum installer work up?
Yeah.
What they say is expert answers to your questions. And this is, I'm going to get George involved in this one too, because George is like Mr. Ask Ubuntu. What StackExchange is from Joel Spolsky and Jeff Atwood from Fog Creek Software in New York City. They've sort of taken the online forum and improved on the idea where people can post a question. What's really neat is people can vote on they can vote on the question itself, and they can vote on the answers. And what it does is you end up with a question with a score that can go up, and it's like really good questions have a high voted score, right? But more importantly, really good answers have the highest score too. Let's see. Probably Ask Ubuntu it's one of the biggest. Is it the biggest StackExchange site? Third biggest. Where is? Let's see. There's Stack. There's
I keep seeing Stack Overflow show up there. I see
yeah,
that a lot.
What is Stack Over? What's the difference, George, between StackExchange is the platform, right?
Yeah.
Well, I'm not quite sure what's going on. I press a key and the...
There's a stuck FM key.
Probably hitting a key that's changing the output to go from one screen to the other.
Driving me nuts. Okay.
A lot of the answers that I get when I
Isn't the
Google for
cable
things
plugged
now
in?
say Stack Overflow on them.
Is what?
Is the cable loose? Stack Overflow?
No, it's just sitting right here. It's good.
Is it
So,
loose on the other end?
no, it's probably something with my laptop.
Format in general.
You want to turn my laptop in?
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense.
It's built on an open source platform, I think, so you can
'Cause this
actually
is just
create
not-
your own service video.
Did you have to sub your laptop for this? No, you subbed it for this.
I've got mine.
Just logging as gas connection.
Or you can,
Other side. It's in the back.
pay them to sponsor a site dedicated to your company or product or whatever.
Oh,
Could be logged in and bring
that
up-
makes sense that they get revenue that way.
So Stack Overflow is kind of a general purpose computer technology discussion forum, is that right?
Programmers.
Programmers.
That's it. Programmers.
Programmers, okay.
Super users.
Ask Ubuntu is about Ubuntu related things.
Right.
It's built on the StackExchange platform.
Right.
And then there's other StackExchange sites.
Code review
Yeah,
is pretty.
Code review?
Programmer, yeah. So like on Stack Overflow, you ask about a problem like your program's not running. On code review, you can post your code and be like, you know, this is how I solved the problem. What would your general suggestions be? Is there another way to do it?
Get a critique
so
of
that's
your-
a good compliment to Stack Overflow. Sometimes
Cool.
you'll be able to solve it, but you won't feel good about it.
There's also.
Or feel beat up over it?
If you're not a programmer, if you go to StackExchange, there's a huge family of everything from, like, there's a laptop, there's math, physics, Photoshop, or photographers dot StackExchange,
There's like religion, there's
bicycles.
yeah.
Someone really understand Harry Potter, there's a fantasy.
Yeah, there's science fiction .stackexchange.com with some really pretty interesting and.
The screen is way dark.
Hmm?
The screen is way dark.
That's what mine.
You're running 12.4?
This is 12.4, yeah. Well, I don't need the screen, but I do need. We'll be there in a sec.
Just as a little side here.
It's not the destination, it's the journey.
So we're gonna try that one? We might just have to get George's computer back up here.
Well, it's funny, I was trying to find a solution to a problem, and I found a little article here that George has edited recently. It's like,
Yeah.
Oh, if
Yeah.
you go on to Stack, if you go on to Ask Ubuntu, I think every question on there has been personally massaged by George.
What do we need?
Did George missed
We
it?
need this, right?
No, I heard.
No.
Video.
In video.
No, it's mostly on. I even did it during my meeting because I wanted to get
All right.
No, she was.
Where's the list of StackExchange sites? If you go to the top one, you log in, there's a drop-down list.
Yeah. Yeah, you can like go into not all of them. Yeah.
There we go. Mouse, browser.
Click on all sites.
Yeah. Okay, here's the, that's as big as it is, so can I,
Control, it's organized by size.
so these are the StackExchange sites. All right, there's quite a few of them. I don't know, there's about 70 of them, I think. But you can see, well, Stack Overflow is the biggest. Ask Ubuntu is pretty big. Server Fault's another good one too if you're a server administrator. But let's go into Ask Ubuntu, I guess. Let's go visit the site. So here's a bunch of questions. Right? The way I usually get to the Stack Overflow sites is I just Google. I Google for how do you turn off the Amazon shopping thing in Ubuntu 12.10, and it takes me to it gives me the typical Google answers, but almost always for me now there's a StackExchange site that's near the top of those answers.
Well, you realize that Google customizes to what you've seen before,
sure,
right?
Sure.
But there's also typically good answers here.
Yeah. So let's see what's
Just that. Click up. Scroll up, I mean. Click questions.
top questions or questions?
No, just question in the orange. Up.
Right there. Okay.
Right there.
Yeah.
And then click votes in the sub. Bottom right. Keep going. Votes right there. And these are sorted by votes.
So here's these are questions that have votes. If 321 people have upvoted this question to say that's a good question. So let's go ahead and take a look at the question, and what's neat is you'll see answers. And there's 54 answers with the best answer having 93 votes. That's at the top of the list. And as you scroll down, actually, good. The second one has a lot more votes than the first one.
But the first one was accepted as the answer.
Yeah, the green, it's got the green check on it.
But how many times have you gone searching for the answer to a question, and you find an answer that's 3 or 4 years old, and you have no idea if that's a good answer or not? It's just one person's answer to that problem. You don't really know if it's the right answer. What's really neat about the Stack Overflow and StackExchange sites is, in this case, 93 people said that that's a good answer for this problem. I don't even know what the problem is, but
this is actually this is just a list of different images. Go back one.
Back here.
Yeah. And then scroll down. What? Yeah, that flash one would probably be better.
Okay. Here, somebody describes the problem. 183 people have upvoted it. That's got a blue tint to it. So there's 19 answers. Here's one of the 138 upvotes. Somebody describing the answer. Right. If I scroll down, we'll see the next answer, I think.
That's a pretty comprehensive one.
That's a pretty big answer. And there's also comments on the answers. So there's feedback to the answer that can offer more information.
Somebody named Blue, something or other.
Yeah. There's one with 85, with an upvote of 85. So anybody can vote on these things, right? You just have to create an account, and you can sign in, and you can read through the answers and pick which one you think is the best answer and upvote it, or downvote it. If you think that's a bad answer, you can take a score down. So.
Could you like ask a question and show us how that worked? I mean, you look like you went through that real quick.
Ask a question.
Yeah.
Who's got a question for Ubuntu?
What's wrong with your projector connection?
I don't really want to pollute the Ask Ubuntu site with questions about the
You
library.
can just start typing and then.
Well, here, try. Recognize a USB. Can't recognize a USB.
So,
are there like experts who have like more, their votes count for more?
I don't know that their votes count for more,
No,
but when you start looking at who answered, you can see what kind of points that they call it, karma points or.
Right.
Yeah, karma points for it.
What is it, George?
Reputation.
Reputation, yeah. So here, as I started to type the question, it went out and hit the database and found other questions that may be what I'm talking about, although.
Does that look
It's
across-
not good until you start typing stuff in your body.
Okay.
Does that actually look just on this stack exchange, or does it look across all of them?
Yeah.
That's not as useful. Because if you're in the wrong
Just
stack-
start typing in the body.
Okay.
Say something like, I plugged in my
mouse and it doesn't work, and maybe that's just way too big.
Yeah. Keep typing. Something cool will happen. I promise.
Okay.
And my Linksys video camera quit working.
Stuck in one place. I don't see anything cool happening yet.
It doesn't
You
look.
don't have enough information.
Yeah, okay.
So what happens is as you put more information here, it keeps hitting the database, and on the side you'll get a recommended possible.
Okay.
So if you actually have like a snippet of a log that you paste in there, it'll actually be like, you probably have this problem.
Ah, okay.
Yeah,
So
it's
as you're
totally
describing your problem,
Not across both.
you know how it is when you have a problem and you talk to somebody. As you're talking to them, you discover the answer
Right.
just by speaking out loud. This is kind of the same thing. As you're describing the problem, you're getting it clear in your mind what the problem is, and then it'll hit the database and show you other problems that might be the same problem you're having.
Maybe it's waiting for a period or something.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it actually does all this stuff like, it won't let you submit questions if you don't have proper, yeah, that won't let you.
Yeah.
They actually do like this quality check where if you paste in a bunch of text with no periods, it won't let you submit a question. So they're very,
So it's got to have some grammar.
they're very clever to make sure you're not
A robot.
spamming junk into there.
Okay. So anyway, if we go back to the all sites.
Yeah. It looks right now.
Actually, it was.
American Dictator News called Paul Ryan a liar. It just said Fox News called Paul Ryan a liar on the bottom.
You want to go to StackExchange, I think.
Yeah.
There's a link right there.
That's not what I wanted to.
Yeah, the orange. You were there. Down a little bit, right there.
I can't really see it. All sites, there it is. Yeah, that doesn't really take me there.
Yeah, the orange link.
Whatever. Anyway, the reason why I wanted to bring this up tonight is really kind of a selfish reason. You saw the big list of Stack Exchange sites, including Ask Ubuntu, Stack Overflow, Math. There's all kinds of them, right? I'm trying to create one for LTSP. At LTSP, we've had a mailing list really since we started back in 1999. But a lot of people are complaining about the mailing list being too slow. The archives are crappy. So there was several guys that wanted to use a forum. So we started looking at doing forum software, and then we started thinking about, well, why don't we just do a Stack Exchange site? Turns out it's not easy to do a Stack Exchange site. You have to jump through some real hoops to do it. If you want to propose a Stack Exchange site, Area 51. Area51.com, and this is where you can propose a site. Greetings, Earthling, okay? Now, obviously, LTSB, we call it, it goes under technology. And under technology now, there's a whole bunch of sites that are out there. In fact, right now, there are 185 proposals for sites. You have to go through this fairly large process to actually create a live Stack Exchange site. And George, were you involved in doing Ask Ubuntu's? Or did you come in after that?
Yeah. What they do is they don't want to even try launching you unless you have a dedicated following.
You got to have a real following. You got to have. There's got to be something there for them to take you seriously. And it makes sense. It's just, I'm not sure we're going to get there because it's a pretty big, pretty high hurdles we have to jump over. Anyway, We are usually on the second page of these. I'm not sure what rank, how they get ranked for which page they show up.
Wow,
on.
Raspberry Pi is huge.
Yeah. Okay. Currently, we've got 44 followers. You need 60 followers. Once you propose a site, you have to come up with 60 followers, and you have to have 40 questions with a score of 10 or higher. And these are example questions. They're not even, it's not even like you could go in there and put a real question and expect to get an answer. These are just example questions, things that you would find
The kinds of things that you would have on your site.
in an LTSP environment, right. In fact, I'm not really sure what happened because yesterday we had 36 questions. We needed 36 questions with a score of 10 or more. Now we need 38. So somebody is downvoted or something, which really isn't helping us. But here's, we can't vote on answers yet. We can't even enter answers yet. But we can vote on questions. So what I'm asking you to do, if you can, is go ahead and create an account on the StackExchange site.
What was the question you had back there? We could add that.
Yeah, what was your question about LTSP? I can't add it because I've already hit my limit of questions.
Working on 1204.
I'll go ahead and sign up and vote.
Yeah, sign up.
I'm not signed up, but I didn't know it existed.
Yeah, so the thing is, sign up. We don't need any more questions. We've got enough questions out there. What we need is enough upvotes on the existing questions. And for us, right now, having a score greater than 10 doesn't do us any good on any of these questions. We need 40 questions with a score of 10 or higher. 40 questions with a score of exactly 10 would be fine. So there's an awful lot of questions out here with 9 and 8. We just need some more upvotes on those. Now, if you create an account, you can only upvote 5 questions on the sample site or the proposed site. So if you guys want to get on there and create yourself an account and go to the area51.stackexchange.com, find the LTSP site and upvote any of these questions that need more votes. This is a process that I think it's going to take a few months to get all the way through this, and this is just the first phase of acceptance. Once we get our we need 16 more followers, so all of you guys can be followers. And once we get our the additional 38 questions with a score of 10, that just gets us about a third of the way through the process. Then I think we have to find like 200 people that are committed to supporting the LTSP Stack Exchange site.
Is that going to be a problem? Finding 200 people?
Probably.
In other words, is this a thing that's going to have a small following? In any case, it's going to be a struggle to keep enough following, or is this something that's going to build up momentum over time?
Well, we can only hope, right? Doesn't cost anything to do it, other than getting people to sign up and vote.
Do they deactivate sites that aren't being used very heavily?
Yes, they do.
Do they?
So if you get through all that and you launch, they'll launch you in a private beta, and then you hit a public, and then everyone who committed gets like a week to kind of seed the site with questions and stuff. And then after that, they'll run you in beta. And as long as you're generally progressing in like in your traffic and activity, they'll leave you alone. But a lot of sites don't make it, so they just close them down.
Well, we might not make it.
Questions or anything?
What's that?
Do they let you export your questions or something like that? So
Oh yeah, yeah.
so that you can like drop it off on your
They
frequently
make
asked questions.
public data dumps.
All right. So we got one more follower and 2 people upvoted some.
And now you got a bunch of 10s.
Yeah. Well, we've got 4 10s. We need 36 more.
Well, you needed 38 a minute ago.
Yeah, yeah.
So.
Yeah, well, we needed 36 the other day too. I'm not quite sure what happened there.
So how come all of a sudden we needed 38? Is that because some questions jumped off or something?
I don't know.
Well, I'm trying to sign up, but it says I need at least 8 unique characters in my password. It's like just too complicated for me.
That's too hard for you.
You can also use OpenID with Google.
Yeah, it's Google, Facebook, there's for
Launchpad.
That's what I just did. Password save will also generate the password.
Yeah.
So have we improved your chances since you started then?
No, because they're not on the second page now.
Yeah, well, we went from needing 16 followers down to needing 15. We went from needing 38 questions down to 36. So yeah, we're getting better. At this rate. So I just want to take a couple minutes tonight to sort of point out what StackExchange is and how y'all can help the LTSP support environment. Questions? No?
So Jim, while you're up there, why don't we talk about the book swap?
Yes. We have books. I don't know if everybody saw it.